Have you ever considered that freedom, the very thing we chase, might secretly be a prison? That what we see as liberation, choice, and independence could actually bind us in ways we don't even recognize. Imagine waking every day with endless possibilities, but feeling trapped by the weight of having to decide, to act, to define your life completely on your own. Freedom is supposed to be our ultimate reward, the pinnacle of human existence. Yet for many, it is a burden, a source of anxiety, a cage without bars. Today, we are going to explore a paradox that challenges everything we think we know about life, choice, and destiny. What if freedom itself is a form of prison? At first glance, freedom seems simple. The power to choose, to live without external control, to follow your desires. But when we dig deeper, we discover that true freedom is rarely simple. It carries responsibility, uncertainty, and the weight of infinite possibilities. The more freedom we have, the more we are confronted with the question, what should I do with it? This is not merely a philosophical exercise. Understanding the paradox of freedom and its hidden constraints can transform how we live, how we perceive ourselves, and how we relate to the world. It is a reflection that touches the very core of human existence and our search for purpose. Throughout history, philosophers, mystics, and thinkers have wrestled with the nature of freedom. Jean-Paul Sartre famously said that humans are condemned to be free, pointing to the inherent tension between choice and responsibility. Freedom can liberate, yes, but it can also paralyze. It can inspire greatness, but it can also trap the mind in endless doubt, fear, and indecision. To understand how freedom might be a form of prison, we must first examine its challenges. Freedom is not merely the absence of restrictions. It is the presence of infinite choices, infinite paths, infinite possibilities. And each choice carries consequences. Every decision we make shapes the trajectory of our lives, often in ways we cannot predict. Consider this: when you are free to do anything, everything becomes a potential source of anxiety. The vast horizon of possibilities can overwhelm the mind. In a sense, freedom forces us to confront ourselves fully, without excuses, without external guidance. And for many, this confrontation is terrifying. Psychologically, humans are wired to seek structure, rules, and boundaries. Boundaries provide comfort because they narrow the field of possibilities and guide our decisions. Freedom, by contrast, expands the field to infinity, leaving us to navigate life without a map. And in that vast, uncharted space, the mind can feel imprisoned by its own choices. Philosophers call this the paradox of choice. The more options we have, the harder it becomes to make a decision. We fear making the wrong choice, missing out, or regretting our decisions. In a way, freedom can trap us in endless contemplation, in cycles of doubt and hesitation. Even more, freedom exposes us to the weight of responsibility. Every action, every decision, every path we take is ultimately ours to claim. There is no one else to blame, no fate to excuse us. For some, this ultimate responsibility feels like imprisonment. Freedom, in its purest form, is not a gift. It is a challenge, a test of courage, self-awareness, and wisdom. Interestingly, many spiritual traditions suggest that true liberation does not come from unbounded freedom, but from conscious discipline. Mystics, yogis, and sages have long argued that freedom without guidance is empty, chaotic, and often paralyzing. By embracing discipline, structure, and inner purpose, we transform freedom from a source of anxiety into a tool for self-realization. Boundaries, paradoxically, can liberate us. They provide focus, clarity, and direction. They allow us to exercise our freedom meaningfully rather than being trapped by endless possibilities. This paradox, freedom as both liberation and prison, is one of the central mysteries of human life. It challenges us to rethink what it means to be free, to question whether liberation is merely the absence of constraints or the conscious mastery of self. Ultimately, the tension of freedom can lead to profound self-discovery. When we confront the weight of our choices, we are forced to look inward. We must face our fears, our desires, our values, and our purpose. Freedom, in this sense, is a mirror reflecting our deepest selves. Those who embrace this paradox often find that the true prison is not external but internal. It is the fear of responsibility, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of living fully. Freedom does not imprison us physically. It challenges us to liberate ourselves spiritually and emotionally. In mystical and philosophical terms, freedom is not the absence of restriction. It is the awakening to conscious choice. The chains are invisible, but they can be broken by awareness, courage, and intuition. Now I invite you to reflect. Do you experience freedom as liberation, or do you feel trapped by its weight? How does the paradox of choice shape your life, your decisions, and your purpose? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflections can spark insight for others navigating the delicate balance between freedom and responsibility. To continue exploring these profound questions, subscribe to my newsletter. Each week, we dive deep into the mysteries of life, consciousness, and spiritual awakening, offering guidance for living more consciously, courageously, and freely. Freedom is not a simple gift. It is a complex paradox, a double-edged sword that can inspire or imprison. True freedom challenges us to confront ourselves fully, to take responsibility for our lives, and to navigate the infinite possibilities with awareness and intention. The prison of freedom is not external, it is internal. It lies in our fear of choice, our fear of responsibility, and our fear of ourselves. But within this challenge lies opportunity, the chance to awaken, to master our consciousness, and to live fully, boldly, and purposefully. Do not fear freedom, understand it. Embrace it consciously. Transform the invisible prison into a ladder for your soul. In this conscious engagement with life, you discover the ultimate liberation, the freedom to be fully, authentically, and courageously yourself.